Hey
There
there.
we go. Now I see the record button. Okay, cool. Should I redo my whole spiel or just kind of go from there?
Absolutely, you have to redo that because that was way too good.
Okay, so golden nugget, the whole spiel, the reason for this class. I teach this class every month basically to help new agents that want to push their career to have maximum results for minimum investment from yourself. So the topic of this month is basically how do you time block your morning to be extremely purposeful to produce maximum results. This is something that my maps coach had put me on about 2 months ago. I've been living it. I highly suggest that if you do not have the bold planner, take your left hand, your right hand, whichever hand you got, put it in your pocket where you got your wallet, take it out, go buy one, and use this thing because it is amazing. It will keep you on your goals. It's got your yearly goals broken into there, your monthly, and then day to day. So you could truly not, you can't cheat yourself on this from seeing whether you're doing something or not doing something. So the idea is that you can achieve everything you need to achieve in your real estate career from day to day between 8:30 to about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, anybody who spent any time in the real estate market will immediately call heresy on that you're no, it's not possible. You can't possibly do that. I'm telling you that if you have your time blocked out, extremely purposeful, you can do exactly that. There is absolutely no reason that if you have 8:30 to about 12:30, 1 o'clock blocked out, that you shouldn't be able to do at least one listing a week. Now, how do you do that? It's extremely important for you to identify your primary source of getting leads because the whole concept is you have to constantly be working existing business, new business, friends, past clients, and doing that purposefully every single day. Now, in my personal business, and what I believe every single agent should have is some method of prospecting daily to be adding people into that feeding system, that pipeline, that database, right? So what I primarily do, and this is where you're going to want to take your notebook and take your pen and fill out what are you going to be doing, is I do phone calls. I do circle prospecting. I do buyer calls. I do anything to speak to neighborhoods about what is it that I do in this market and how it could be useful to that person. Now, what could you put in there? You could have phone calls. You could have Facebook messages, text messages. You could be doing handwritten cards. You could be door knocking. You could be sphere of influence calls. Anything that has people hearing your name, hearing Connor's name, Lori's name, Drew, Kimura, any of you, for people to hear your name and associate you with real estate, with the authority, with I'm doing something here. Now, what's very important about that is doing that on a consistent basis daily. So, what would that look like? You get up at 8:30 in the morning to work already, right? You're up 7 o'clock, 6:30, whenever. I know Connor, he probably doesn't sleep at all. So he's he probably rolls through the next day.
Yeah.
So you get up and you have that first 30 minutes of your day before you pick up a phone, before you type in an email, before you do anything. And what do you do in that time is you sweep for minds. What does that mean? That means, what am I doing today? What problems could I have that would stop me from doing what I'm doing today, right? And what warm up do I need to do for that? So, what does that mean exactly? All right, I wake up, I know I'm calling this list over on ABC Street, and here's what I'm calling about. I set the new highest price, or I got a buyer, or whatever. That's what I'm doing today. Sweeping for minds. I am a working realtor, as all of you are. I have problems with my deals, just as all of you do. What problems are going to come up during my time block that will stop me from speaking to my next client, from producing my next deal, from going to my next unit that's going to bring me up the ladder as a producing agent, right? That's done. Now I need to warm up. Connor is in my script and role play calls every single morning. I'm very open to anybody who wants to come to the office, jump on FaceTime with us. You can message me, but I script and role play every single morning. You don't want to practice on your clients, regardless of what your lead genning tool is. Whether you're writing handwritten cards, what is my card going to look like? If I'm door knocking, what am I going to say when I knock on your door? Why am I here? When I'm calling, what am I calling about? You don't want to call somebody and waste that potential client when they answer the phone and you're you don't know what to say because you haven't thought that far ahead. Take that 10 minutes and clear that so that when they pick up the phone, you're ready. Hey, I'm calling you about this. This is what I could do for you. How can I help you? So you have all that cleared out, right? That's your 8:30 to 9 o'clock. So jot that down in your notebook, sketch that out. What does that look like in your life, right? Now you're getting to the good stuff, which is the 9 to 11, right? You truly only need 2 hours of lead genning time. And when I say lead genning, I mean focused lead genning. You're not going to go grab lunch. You're not going to go grab coffee. Nobody's coming into your office, right? You need to have a big old sign on your door, on your office window, on wherever. If you're in a tent outside, you got to have a sign on that tent that says, if you don't have a duffel bag full of money, do not come to me right now. And in that time, whatever your lead genning is for that day, you do that focused nonstop for that 2 hours, right? And telling you from proven results, you should be having a 10% contact ratio, right? So you should be speaking to 10% of the people that you're reaching out to and actually getting people on the phones, whether you're sphere of influencing, whether you're calling. If you're sphere of influencing, it should be even higher because your friends should be picking up the phone to you, hopefully, as long as you got good friends. If you're calling random people, if you can get that 10%, you're crushing it, man, because 10%, that's 10 new people every day if you're only making 100 calls. 10 new people a day, every single day. There's about 20 business days every month. 12 months a year. I mean, come on, you're going to be crushing it off of those numbers. If you're doing handwritten cards, you're going to do even better because if you're really focused on to where you're sending those, right? I mean, think about it for yourself. When was the last time that you opened up your mailbox and somebody wrote with pen, with ink, an actual card to you with your business card in it? Nobody does that. So when you do that, it's, oh my God, somebody actually cares. So those 2 hours, you're extremely focused on where do I meet somebody who needs me that I could put into command, that could get my emails, they could get my market information and stay up to date, right? And you do that different ways. Like I said, I do calls. So my database is completely different than yours is going to be. I have people that are going to get monthly reports from me. I got people that I'm giving them a market evaluation. I got people that actually tell me, hey, Benjamin, I want to sell. If you're doing your friends, right? Start with your friends. Hey, Connor, I'm a real estate agent now. I want to keep you up to date on what your house is worth. I know you're not looking to sell it for the next 20 years because you got 3 kids in high school and middle school right now, and your wife would kick you out the house if you got them out the school that they're in. But let me keep you up to date every month with emails so you know what your property's worth. What's the best email for you? Make those calls. Have all your friends know that, because I promise you, if your friends are hearing from you monthly on emails, one of two things is going to happen. Either one day they're going to look to sell, or one day they're going to be sitting down having dinner or lunch or whatever with one of their friends, and they're going to say, hey, man, I'm looking to sell my property. And they'll be like, man, Connor sent me like 36 emails about market evaluations. I think he's a realtor. Maybe he can help you, right? That's your goal. You need people to know what you're doing. That's your 2-hour goal. And that's what's very, very hard to grasp for a lot of people about the prospect, because they look at it like, man, I got to go do things. I got to go talk to people. I'm awkward on the phones. Don't think about it like that. Think about it as I get to meet new people that I get to talk to about real estate. That's going to do two things. One, I get to help them with their real estate needs. And two, let's be very honest, we're all realtors for a reason. I get to make a paycheck. I don't think anybody's in here for the charitability about, hey, I got to help somebody with something. You're here because you want to make a career out of this, and a career pays you paychecks. So you should think about it. Every time I'm writing a card, every time I'm making a phone call, I'm going towards my next deal, my next paycheck, my next house that I could send postcards to and say, hey man, I sold this house over in Lake Charleston for 20 grand more than the nearest sale. That's your 9 to 11, finding those people, right? Now you got two more things that you got to do every single day. And this structure is done by all the Keller Williams models, all the top producing agents. My personal favorite who works this model is Ryan Serhant. It's called Finder, Keeper, Doer, right? So we did our finder, we're finding new leads. Next thing is our keeper hour, right? So you have all these leads that you're doing 2 hours a day, every single day, 5 days a week. You're going to start getting people, right? What do I do with them? I talk to these people. I spent the time. I did the biggest thing, which is finding these people. What do I do now? Well, now you work on every single person's individual needs. Connor might want a market evaluation, might not want to sell. So I'm going to go on the MLS. I'm going to work out the numbers. I'm going to call Connor. I'm going to tell him, hey, your house is worth this and that. Here's an email. Look at what's sold in the neighborhood, right? Lori might have told me straight up that she wants to sell her house. So what am I going to do? On my keeper hour, I'm going to put together a listing presentation, go to Lori's house, go show her what's going on in the neighborhood. How am I different than the other agents? How am I going to sell that, right? So that's your next hour. You finish 11 o'clock, right? You start putting in all those contacts into command, and you start working them as to what you're going to do with those contacts, right? What's the next step? And be purposeful about that with your lead genning as to what you're going to do next with those leads, because that's going to be important. That's where your deals come from, is from what you do from there, right? And that's going to be your two biggest things, I promise you, because everything else comes, I wouldn't say easy, but everything else comes as the territory gets there. Whatever problems you're going to have with your listings, servicing those listings, that all comes next, and we're going to get into that in your calendar as well. But you spend this good chunk of time finding these people, and unfortunately a lot of people don't follow up if they don't get the deal on the first call. There's a Harvard study which says that it takes up to 7 contacts with the decision maker to get them to tell you yes or no. That means I talked to Connor today, I put him in my command today, I could probably call him every single day for the next 2 weeks. If he only answers every other call, it might take me up to 7 calls of me calling Connor and tell him what I do for him to tell me, yeah, Ben, I'm ready to do business with you. Or, Ben, it's really not for me. But that's something that needs to be done. I'll give you an example right now. I have a listing that I'm working on. I contacted the guy originally 6 months ago, and I've been following up since. And I call this guy religiously. I call him more than I go to church to get his business. I call him twice a week, every single week. Hey sir, how you doing? Just wanted to check in with you. The market's great. Here's what's going on. Here's another listing I sold. And just same thing. You have to be repeatedly calling them. So that's your 11 to 12. It's your keeper hour. It's where you take all your leads from your lead genning and follow up on them. Yes, Connor.
I also just wanted to add what I've noticed, because as Ben said, I do the phone calls. I work for Justin Shelby on the home team, and I found that setting goals for that day, like how many people I just want to talk to, or how many evals I want to get, or whatever. And it changes, you can change it day to day. But for me, like, it's so much easier to get on the phone and to keep making phone calls, even when I've been rejected like 5-6 times in a row, when I've got like, all right, well, I've got 1, but I said I was going to get 2. So I got to call this next person.
Exactly. Have that goal in front of you. What am I doing today? What's the mission today? Right? And start with 1. Get comfortable with 1, then go to 2, then go to 3. I mean, I had it personally. If you don't know, I'm on Dan DeMott's team, the home source team leader here at Boynton Beach, and I had a goal for the year, and I was pacing really good last month. So I go into Dan's office for one of our coaching meetings. I go, "Hey Dan, should I stretch my goal because I feel I can do it?" And let me tell you, my last week of the month, my goal was double what it was for the year for last month. What my how to say it, my pacing goal, right? I doubled it for last month what it was supposed to be. And then coming to the end of the week of the last week of the month and looking at my goal, and I'm like, damn, I'm 2 deals away from it. Where do I find those 2 deals? And when you have that in front of you, you hit it, because you'll do what you have to do when you see those numbers in front of you. When you see the chips flying of, hey, I'm getting my contacts, I'm getting my follow-up, you'll stretch for that final stretch. So very, very good point, Connor. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Write down your goals because it's super, super important.
Yeah.
Jessica, I see you have a hand raised. What's up?
Okay, so this actually is just like a good practice that we use in Keller Williams in general, period. Even down to my admin tasks. I am taught to calendarize every single move I make. So from on a Monday from like 9 to 10, I'm doing co-broke cards, which for you guys would be, cards out to like, I guess, clients that you worked with, or maybe prospects.
Exactly.
Then like 10 to 11, I'll be doing something else. And that keeps me like, straightforward, like, and I will automatically get it pinged to my phone. There will be a notification saying, hey, now's the time to be working on this task. And another thing that, since, me and Ben both work with Dan very frequently. Dan is the team leader.
Yep.
Dan and Emily, all of us have kind of learned this practice that if you don't get to this goal today, that doesn't mean that it goes away. It means you put it on the calendar for tomorrow.
Gotta add it up.
So
if you have a goal of doing 2 today and you only hit 1, that means you gotta do 3 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And that number is only gonna stack up and stack up.
So yes.
Good point. Hey, Jessica, do we have bold planners in the office, right?
Unfortunately, no. I haven't seen them.
Can they order it through the office?
They can order it through kwconnect.com. I will actually put the link in this chat box, okay?
Drop it in there. I highly suggest, and this is where you could put those goals, because the bold planner actually breaks down to having your quarterly, your monthly, and your weekly goals in there. I highly suggest spend that money and write those goals in pen. Write your daily in pencil so you could delete it, but write those goals in pen because you want to hold yourself accountable to that. So coming off of that, let's do a quick recap before we go to the last part, which is your doer hour, right? Or finder key, yeah, doer hour. So 8:30, you're sweeping for minds, you're getting prepared, and you're ironing out what are you doing that day. 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, you are doing whatever your lead genning method for that day is going to be. 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, you're doing your keeper hour. You're adding people to command, you're reaching out with whatever follow-up you got to do, and you're setting up for any appointments you got to do. Now, this is where it gets flexible. From 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock and beyond that, I personally have my 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock as my flex hours of appointments, fixing problems, answering emails, whatever. But from 12 to 1 is where you're going to do things, right? So that's where you focus on those leads in your database, in your command that have actionable items right now. Those are not your follow-up calls. Those are not you trying to close somebody on doing business with you. Those are, hey, Connor has a beach house that he needs to sell. Hey, Lori has a rental for me. Jessica has a client that's looking to buy something. I got to go take them out to go show them things. That's where you're doing your next actionable item on your contacts. and be purposeful with that in the same way that you're purposeful with your prospecting and you're purposeful with your follow-up on your keeper hour, in the sense of write down who are you doing what for that day, right? Who's going to be my new listing? Who's going to be my new buyer? If I got a closing that I got to go do something for, I do a lot of multifamily, so I got to go pick up an estoppel for a closing, or, hey, I got an inspection for my single family house right now. Be purposeful about writing that into that time. Now, if you do that, if you have your day broken up like that, you have your warm up, you have your finding hour, finding new business, you have your keeper hour of keeping that business, you have the doer, the actions I need to take on my next listing. I promise you that if you do this consistently for the next month, every single day, anybody who's watching this recording, anybody who's in the Zoom right now, I promise you, doing that day in and day out, you will get at least a listing a week. Now, it might not happen that first month, but it will compound into that. I promise you, it's a very simple working of all that. Give me 1 second. I just gotta mute and pause myself for 1 second. Sorry about that. So if you do that every single day, you sketch out what are you doing, how are you doing it, and you do it on a consistent basis, it will happen for you. I've had plenty of inside sales agents that have worked on the team that I've taught the same thing to. All of our team lives by this exact structure, and you see the results. When you do what you're supposed to do, you see it. But I will promise you, on that same level, that if you see the results and you slow down, you will not see the results that you want. So don't let it stagnate you, that you take that one listing and you're like, oh my God, my life is amazing, I got that one listing. Because I promise you, you're going to be how they teach you in Ignite, where your career goes up and down and up and down. The only way that you can truly control having a nice flat growth is you need to be in it every single day, calendared and focused. But I promise you, you can achieve everything you need to achieve in your career between 8:30 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon if you have it all calendared and if you do it. I'll leave it open right now to any particular questions about any parts of this. Any concerns, feel free, go ahead.
So,
Connor.
yeah, so I work with Justin and Shelby, and they pay me a certain amount to, prospect for them, which I get, if anything that I set up closes, I get a commission. I might actually have my first one this weekend, which is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like, I think it makes calling a lot easier when you actually see the benefits coming in. But
when you see the chips fly,
yeah,
I've always used the term, when you see the chips fly, when you get that result, you're like, man, I could go in, I can get a whole bunch more. But don't let me off track. You keep going with your thought.
Right. But I guess there's other avenues to, like, money or commissions, like referrals, that I just haven't been exploring yet. So, right now my time blocking is like, I get up, I script with you guys, I spend probably, like, from 9 until 11:30 making calls, and then I takes a period of time to just, like, do, other stuff. And then when the
Okay.
calls pick back up kind of in the afternoon, I finished up, like, my work for the team. But I feel like there's a missed opportunity in the middle there, where I usually, like, go to the gym, get lunch, but I feel like I can be doing more to maybe, drum up some referral stuff that I can pass on to Dore. And
so
so,
sketch that out, right? Sketch that out in your life, right? Everybody's business is going to be extremely different. Now, while we can mimic each other's business, right, we all have our own ways of finding new business. So if you sit down and you say, hey, this is what I can do to produce more of a result, right? All you have to do from that point is say, how and when will I do this every single day? Right? So if you say, like, you golf. So say you have friends that are golfers. You're like, hey, I can get referrals from these people. How are you going to do that? Sketch that out and time block that and put that in there. It's as simple as that, right? Like, I want to break in I'm going to give you a perfect example. I want to break into new communities that I haven't done business in yet. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to pull old expired and call people in those neighborhoods and try to pull business, because once I have business there, I could call people and tell them, hey, this is what I did there.
Right.
But I need to do two things. I need a time block and I need to go do it, right? You cannot complain about results that you don't have if you don't sketch it out and time block it. So in that situation, right, figure out what your referral business is going to be, how you're going to get it, write it in your calendar, and do it. And do it consistently until you see a result. So I always mention this story in almost all of my classes. I'm going to mention it again. I'm 18 years old, just learning how to sell cars. I have a sales manager. I sell a husband and wife a car at full sticker price, which is a cash bonus on top to me. I come in, I'm high-fiving all the managers. I think I'm the Wolf of Wall Street himself. And my manager goes to me, he goes, wow. I go, wow, what? He goes, even a blind squirrel can get a nut every now and again. And at the time I'm looking at him, I'm like, this is very rude that the guy told me that. Like, the guy is a horrible person. And the more that I thought about it as I grew older, as I got further in my sales career, that makes so much sense about a blind squirrel getting a nut, right? That means if you do the same thing every single day and you grow nowhere with your skill, which is completely impossible for you to do, you will get a result simply from doing the same thing every single day, right? And you've seen this from your calls. You know that if you do the same thing every day, you're going to get better and better and better at it, right? But take that out of the equation. If you only do your referral business every single day for that time block that you set, you'll eventually get a deal out of it.
Yeah.
Right? And that one extra deal, you're not going to scoff at that money, right?
Right.
So iron out what that is. I'm going to do this. Great. Identified. How am I going to do it? Great. Identified. Now set the time for it. 12 to 2 every day. I'm going to Facebook message all of my friends. Hey, look at this new listing we just sold. Anything I could help you with real estate wise? Or, hey, I'm going to go to the golf course. I'm going to go talk to all my golfer friends and tell them about all this crazy stuff that I'm doing in real estate. Or I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to go get a home team towel and lay on it, see if anybody notices, whatever weird thing you want to do it, but do it consistently.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. My time blocking
Anybody else?
sucks. So
Do it, man. My time blocking could not be any worse. Like, Dan literally bought me the bold planner for Christmas and shoved it in my hands. And he's like, use this. Go get a pencil. Go get a pen. Here's the things that you can't erase. Here's the things that you can erase. And I mean, he's my team leader, so I have a coaching with him every week. But he looks at my planner. What did you do? What didn't you do? What did you cross out? Why did you cross it out? Hold yourself accountable to that standard. Right? At this point, he doesn't need to hold me accountable to my standards, because I'll look at it and be like, man, I suck today. I didn't do this. Right? You have to feel like that. Even if I get a deal today, if I missed my step, I suck today. That's how you have to look at it. You maximize on your potential that you know you have.
right.
I have to agree on
Jessica,
that.
you look like you're saying something.
Yeah, actually, so at first it was Emily holding me accountable for myself. And I was just like, oh, like, I don't want to do it. Like, I'll just I have 1,000 things I want to do, like, or I need to do. Like, why would I plan it when I'm getting interrupted by a phone call or this or that? Like, of course, like, I'm going to have, things I want to do. I might as well just use my brain and just, I have things to do. I'm not going to plan it out. So,
And you're going to lose it every time.
so finally, it's come to the point where I get here earlier than I'm supposed to every morning. And I sit down, I look at my calendar because, you know, I do my appointments with my agents. And then between all of that, like I'm getting interrupted right now. Between all of that, I'm like, okay, from 9 to 10, I'm going to do this, 10 to 11. And like, now I don't need anybody to hold me accountable because it's actually plugged into my brain that if I don't do it, then I'm going to lose it. And then it's just going to become,
It becomes habit.
Yeah, it does.
You almost feel bad when you don't do it. When it becomes a habit, right? Like if I don't do my prospecting, I literally feel like sick. Like I know, like, damn, I didn't do this thing to go get my next deal, right? And it's the same way, no matter what position you're in, no matter what you're doing, when you have a habit and you miss it, you're like, damn, I really could have hit this a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Yep. And you feel like a schmutz because you're like, I totally had the time to do this today, and I just decided,
and I just chose not to do it.
And I chose to like fill my time with something like dumb. Like I wouldn't call it dumb, but it's just like, if I don't have some like a laid out like itinerary in front of me, I am so easy to get off task. Doesn't mean that I'm not doing work. It means that like somebody will call
You're not
me.
doing your one thing.
Exactly. I'm not doing the things that I plan to do today. So, and even if like I run out of time because of circumstances, guess what happens the next day? It's still on my calendar.
You recalendar it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't miss it. If you erase, you must replace.
And that's the way you have to live your life in this industry, or else you're not going to get anywhere far at all. And I've seen a lot of agents from a personal perspective, from a perspective that you guys don't see because you guys are only dealing with the people that, you know, you're with. But I see a lot of agents lose momentum because they don't know how to have one calendar for your entire life. I'm not talking about just like, oh, this is my work calendar, this is my life calendar. It all goes together because it is
The
all
work and life is all one thing at this point.
Thing. So you can't have, I just got out of a consultation where a woman's like, well, I have my like part-time job calendar here and I have a KW calendar here. I said, no, they have to be together. Because,
one thing now.
Because why would you're going to do something over here in part-time and then over in KW, what have you got over here? You're going to end up putting this on the back burner because you're so used to this. So it really is. We talk about mindset a lot and we talk about goal planning a lot, but it really, really, really is, as cheesy as it may seem. And you're like, nah, mama, it's serious. It's real. And if you're not taking the time to block out your time for your calls or block out your time to take the necessary tech stuff that you need to be learning, if you're not, you're going to end up having failed missions. And I'm talking about, let me give you an example. You are going to be having a moment of panic if you say, if you didn't have a team leader, which I see one person on here. Kamora, I don't know if you're on a team. If you have a buyer tomorrow, we even have somebody on a team who had a buyer like that, has no idea what to do. Want to know why? They did not take Ignite. They did not come on to command classes, and they have a TC. So what happens is that they go to scramble because they decided that they were just going to do A, B, and C and not go all the way through Z. You have to literally sit down and plan out your time and stop being one-dimensional. You have to think of the stratosphere of your life and
you have to be purposeful.
Purposeful. And it really is one of those moments where it's like, for instance, if you get a deal tomorrow, do you know how to put it in command? Do you know how to follow it through? Do you know how to follow it through? Because your compliance is part of how you get paid, but also it's more of a customer service kind of deal with your clients too. So if you're a mess behind the scenes, you're a mess in front of these people. Are they going to want to do deals with you again? You don't know how to upload a contract or send a DocuSign. You put the date in the
You
wrong
have to be the
place.
professional.
You have to be professional, which means you need to know what you're doing, which means you need to block out times for those things that you need to know. So that's just me.
Yep.
I'm not a real estate agent, but I've seen it happen to
Couldn't have said it any better.
far too many people who are like, why can't I make it? It's because you're not dedicating your time.
Cool. Any last questions? Any last things to bring up? Anybody? Go once, going twice. Awesome. So I did mention on the live that I'm throwing one thing in here. If you message me, what I'm doing right now is if you follow me on Instagram, share one of my posts, and like 3 of my posts, we will schedule a private one-on-one script and role play class where I'll help you set up your scripts for whatever you're purposefully doing, right? And you're able to come in for a prospecting session with me in my office. I have a space for you to be. It's very quiet, and I'll work with you one-on-one for your prospecting to make sure that you're going to be successful. So whether you're watching this on live right now or you watch this on the recording, message me on Facebook, Benjamin Bondervsky, that you want to apply for that script and role play. Like 3 of my posts, share one of them, send me a screenshot that you did that, and we'll set up for your private script and role play session. Last time, any questions, anything about this class?
You're awesome as always.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
I
boss.
appreciate it. Put it all in practice. Let's circle back to it on next month's class. And I want to hear how everybody got 4 listings in between now and then. All right.
Okay.
How many
Anything you guys
appointments-
ever
how many
need?
appointments?
Well, I mean, if you're going to be making those calls, you should be trying to score 1 a day, at least average that. All right, guys, anybody who ever needs help, I'm always in the office almost every single day. My office is actually right across the hall from the KW office. Feel free, pop in. We could share a cup of coffee. I could answer any questions you guys got. Just make sure you come after 1 o'clock because I'm purposeful in my time. If you come before 1 o'clock, we're going to kick you out. All right, guys, have a good one. Go get those deals. I want to see everybody hit that top producer level. See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Benjamin. Bye.
Bye.